Hey, what's up guys, Mr. Basie here today, and I'm going to talk to you about the battle rifle's spread pattern, and specifically what I mean, if you don't understand, is when you shoot the burst, how tight the spread of the bullets are. So how close together they are in correspondence to where you're aiming in the center of your reticle. So I'm going to essentially talk about whether a tighter spray pattern or maybe a more laxed one, which I will elaborate on in a bit, is better for, I guess, not really Halo 5 Guardians, but Halo gameplay in general. And there's a few factors that weigh into this whole thought process. So one of the first ones is the map size. So Halo 5 Guardians, from what we've seen, has fairly big maps. I think, you know, the midship remakes are, you know, they're of the smaller kinds of maps, but they're still pretty big. I think they scaled them a little bit bigger. I think actually it's probably very obvious that they scaled them a bit bigger because of sprinting and things like that, faster gameplay, whatever it may be. But the spread pattern on Halo 5 Guardians, I'll first say, is very, very tight. It's probably the tightest spread pattern, that's what she said, tightest spread pattern I've seen since Halo 4. So it's an even tighter spray pattern than Halo 4, and that's very surprising. It's very, very consistent, and it shoots extremely accurately. Now, this is, you know, good in a sense, but from a competitive standpoint, maybe not. In terms of competitive, again, I've said this before, you don't want to be able to spawn with an unbelievably powerful weapon, because it will kind of not necessarily neutralize power weapons, but it will make them maybe not as effective or not as good. Think of maybe if you pick up a sniper rifle. Normally in any other game, especially if you spawn with a BR, or even more so if you spawn with an assault rifle, if you're playing like a social game type, you're going to really you know, benefit from having that sniper rifle, because the BR doesn't have the, you know, red reticle range of something like the DMR or the light rifle. Now, you know, when you consider the fact that you can engage a sniper rifle and there's D-scope in this game, meaning it's I would say, you know, significantly harder to hit somebody when you get scoped out, you know, to recalibrate and regain your accuracy and try to shoot again. You know, it's definitely harder to do in a game that has D-scope, and I think people that bought Master Chief Collection and went to Halo 2 Anniversary, or, you know, have played the Halo 5 beta, that have played older games that don't have D-scope, such as Halo 4 and things like that, they're going to be surprised, and it's going to be harder for them to do those things. But, you know, when it comes to a weapon like the DMR or the light rifle that has that increased red reticle range, that has that, you know, really, really superior accuracy long range, it kind of nullifies the sniper rifle, because of the fact that you can consistently and pretty much without fail, as long as you're not missing, keep them out of scope and make it very difficult for someone to really engage you with a sniper rifle at a distance. So again, when you spawn with something like a DMR, and this is not the point of the video, you know, other weapons become nullified, or other weapons become, you know, diluted in terms of their power. So when I think of a BR, I don't think that the BR, just because it's a BR, doesn't mean that we can go crazy with it. I think that it really depends on, again, the map size, how big the maps are, and I think in terms of Halo 5, the tighter spread pattern is justified. But when you look at Halo 2 Anniversary on a map maybe like Sanctuary, Last Resort is a bit big. I think even for, you know, a Halo 5, I think you would have trouble engaging people on Last Resort, and I think there's a reason for that. You know, you're not supposed to really engage people, you're supposed to kind of traverse the map and whatnot. But let's just go with Sanctuary. When you spawn on the opposite, you know, platforms on Sanctuary, the opposite flag plats, you are, you know, you can go down the ramp and look across. Now, when you engage, that's pretty much cross-map. It's not necessarily cross-map, but it's very close to it. And it's a very, you know, large distance, but you can still engage them pretty effectively. You can still get a 4-shot as long as you're not getting de-scoped or shot by probably the other 2 or 3 people that are running down the ramp. But, you know, my point is you can engage very effectively, and I think that Halo 2 Anniversary has a not much looser, but the spray pattern is probably somewhere between Halo 3 and Halo 4. It's not necessarily one or the other, it's kind of somewhere right in between. And I personally really like Halo 2 Anniversary spray pattern. I think it fits really well, again, because it's not overly powerful. When you have a weapon that is when you have a weapon like the BR that doesn't have as tight of a spread pattern, you know, similar to Halo 2 Anniversaries maybe, you know, it takes a little bit more mastery of the gun to really be good at it, especially at a distance. I think, you know, both the Halo 5 and Halo 2 Anniversary BR excel at maybe, you know, close to mid-range, maybe a little bit more so mid-range for the Halo 5 BR. And again, this is both good and bad because, one, you want the extra accuracy. Everybody wants their gun to be accurate. You know, we can't really lie about that here. We can't say otherwise. Everyone wants their gun to be accurate. But at the same time, from a competitive standpoint, it might not be the best, again, to start off with a weapon where you can engage at any range. Similar to why I believe that the BR is the better starting weapon over the DMR, because it would be an even further distance that you could engage, and with more precision with a DMR. So, although that's not the point of the video, I think you guys are starting to see the theme of what I'm trying to talk about. And when it comes to when it comes to Halo 5 map design and the scaling, other than, you know, midship and its you know, its broken counterpart, I do believe that it's kind of justified. You know, it really is justified. So I can't say that, you know, it doesn't work with Halo 5 Guardians, because it obviously does. But, you know, again, from a competitive standpoint, I'm not necessarily sure that's the best implementation. So Halo 2 Anniversary does have a very good system in place. I do really like the whole system they've got. Again, with the BR, you can engage at pretty much any range. However, you do need to be increasingly proficient with the gun, and your mastery level needs to increase the further distance you try to engage people, because you can four-shot people across the map. People have done it in Halo 3, which is probably the loosest spray pattern of all the games. The spray pattern was very loose. You had to lead the bullets in Halo 3. So people were doing it in Halo 3. People can, you know, easily do it in Halo 2 Anniversary, but it does come with a level of mastery that you do need to really practice and lay in some time with. And in all honesty, I feel like in Halo 5 Guardians, that's not going to be necessarily the case. And now, I'm not dissing Halo 5 Guardians. As a matter of fact, it's going to play fine competitively either way. It's just what my personal opinion on that particular implementation of a weapon should be, to make competitive just a little bit more competitive, and, you know, kind of drive home the factor of, you know, this is a highly competitive match. The best of the best are playing in it. You know, we're talking about MLG, like the big leagues, but even any general competitive match will benefit from guns that are, you know, harder to use. Maybe instead of, again, like we've seen rockets in Halo before, but, you know, in Halo Reach they really implemented grenade launchers a lot over rockets. We saw a lot of maps that implemented grenade launcher over rocket launchers. Again, because it's just a little harder to use. It just adds a little bit more difficulty, and for the competitive community and for competitive in general, that's a good thing. It really drives people to get better at the game rather than rely on a weapon's power, you know what I mean, over being good. So, you know, a good example of that again would be rockets and a grenade launcher. Rockets are very easy to use. You can pretty much just rely on their splash damage no matter how you use them, as long as you don't aim directly at the person. Whereas a grenade launcher requires you to aim directly at the person, or maybe get a little bit tricky with, you know, bouncing it off the wall, and, you know, really getting your detonation times down and everything like that, and becoming very creative with the way you use it. So those are essentially my points. I hope that you guys kind of understood the point that I was talking about, because I know that it was probably a bit confusing, but I hope you got it across. And let me know in the comments whether or not you think that a tighter spread pattern would be better for Halo 5, or a looser spread pattern. Not really, you know, like Halo 3, but again, something similar to Halo 2 Anniversary if you've played that. If you think that kind of a spray pattern would be more beneficial to, I guess, the Halo series or Halo 5 Guardians, or if you just think, hey, the map design is very large in Halo 5 Guardians, or it's, you know, relatively large, and, you know, a tighter weapon will benefit pretty much everybody, and you don't know what I'm talking about because I'm crazy. So either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please rate the video what you think it deserved, and if you'd like to become a Sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been Mr. Basie, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.
Sniper rifles ready. Our weapons are up. Lost the lead.